see if that worked. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Maybe I'm just.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. It's starting to get our stuff. It's
Okay.
because I didn't update. You are live. The internet can totally see you now. All right. Thanks, YouTube, you piece of crap. All right. Time to mark out with Dave and Jay. I don't know how to start this normally. This is our first episode, and this is the first time I'm brave enough to go online and share my wrestling opinions, as it were. I'm Jason. This is Dave.
What's up?
I guess we could start by introducing ourselves. I'm a filthy Canadian Mark. And I've been watching wrestling since I was about 8 at a sleepover party. We watched Saturday night's main event. And it was like my first introduction actually to Bret Hart and a bunch of other wrestlers. And I think the most memorable thing in that Saturday night main event was like the Mountie trying to shock Rowdy Piper with his shock stick, because apparently that's something we Canadians do. We filthy Canadian heels, we have shock sticks and cattle prods that we attack people with. We attack other Canadians dressed up as Scotsmen that way. But yeah, I've been a wacky fan since, other than a little bit of a lapse in the years that apparently weren't that good anyway. So that's me as a wrestling fan. How about you, Dave?
Very similar. About 8, 9 years old, I happened to be over at a buddy's house when they were watching Royal Rumble '93, I think. Bret Hart versus Razor Ramon was on there, and I just immediately was just like infatuated with it. My parents wouldn't let me watch wrestling, so I had to sneak it.
I was like, neither would mine until the sleepover. It's like, look, they're all going to be watching wrestling. Whatever, just go.
Right, and so I would have to sneak it, and then eventually I convinced them to let me rent videotapes, because the video stores had old pay-per-views and things like that. So I would rent old WrestleManias and old SummerSlams and stuff at a place called Golden's Video, which no longer exists. And I would just watch every week, man. And I remember, everything was on pay-per-view. My parents would never buy pay-per-views for wrestling for me, because they would barely let me watch it on cable TV. So I remember I would go down into the basement and turn the TV on and keep clicking it, right? Because everything was all staticky, or the warpy stuff where you get to catch something every once in a while. And I would listen to all the pay-per-views as a kid.
Yeah, because the audio would come in clear. It was like, I'm watching,
right.
I'm enjoying on radio.
Yeah, basically, it's like you were listening to a radio broadcast. But yeah, I remember listening to WrestleMania 13, Undertaker versus Psycho Sid, in the basement with the warbly picture. And so I also did a lull. I'd say 2003 through a few years ago, actually. I had a lot of stuff going on, and I've backtracked a lot. I'm like, oh man, when did Edge become a 13-time world champion or 11-time world champion? So I would go back and rewatch a lot of the stuff and kind of learn all the things I had missed. But I'm back, and it's fun being an adult and watching again, because you get to go to a lot of shows and stuff like that, especially around here where I'm at. So
yeah, I don't get as many shows coming out to us, but I in my early 20s, as it were, I think it's my early to mid 20s, I was actually trying for wrestling at a time. We all went to see WrestleMania with The Rock versus Hogan. So that was my first adult trip to wrestling, and it was quite the show.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
All right. So what we're going to do for this show is every week we're going to take WWE and maybe some indie stuff, depending on how busy the WWE is that week, and talk about what we saw, what we liked. We're going to run on a 3-count system for our matches, how we like our matches. So, a 1 count is trash, 2 count is pretty good, 3 count is amazing, blew my face off kind of thing. You can throw your 0.5s and whatever, because you get a 2.5 count, that close count sometimes. Yeah, we're here to have a lot of fun, make fun of each other. I'm a Canadian, so I have to be a piece of crap to them, I'm sure.
Right,
Because this is the only place we're not polite, is in the world of pro wrestling.
Apparently, right.
All right. But with that said, let's start our show off on probably the highest note so far I've got since me getting back into wrestling, and that was Takeover Philadelphia. It was just before the Royal Rumble on the Saturday, and like I watched it on the TV, so I got to start with the Paul Heyman intro, which was epic. Paul Heyman talking about Philadelphia. He's very passionate, and he did this whole like Philadelphia, where people go to wrestle kind of thing. It's Paul Heyman. You can't help but smile when he's talking, right?
Right.
And there's no chill when it comes to NXT. There's no waiting for it. They got right into it with the Authors of Pain versus the Undisputed Era. And that was Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Now, you said you'd watch some of the later matches. Did you get a chance to go back and watch any of these matches?
I have not. I've been I started my new job, so I'm doing training a lot on like every shift, so I have not been able to go back and watch anything before Adam Cole and Aleister Black. So
yeah. Now myself,
but I plan to.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Myself, I'm not 100% familiar with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. I'm kind of just easing my way back into indie stuff. So I made the observation that Bobby Fish looks like he's both 20 and 50 at the same time. He's got a really weird looking look to him, and just overall, this was a very oh my gosh. It started with oh my gosh, how does Undisputed Era even have a chance against Authors of Pain? And you know, throughout the match, Mauro Ranallo's on the mic, so I caught one of his great lines here was they have more chemistry than the periodic table.
I love Morrow so much.
There'll be more Morrow, I'm sure, throughout the description. But anyway, the match starts with, of course, the Authors of Pain doing what they do, and they're much like the old Legion of Doom. They beat people up really good. But there's a spot where I think it was Rezar. I have a little hard time keeping track, and I didn't keep notes on which one was which. But Rezar goes to stomp from the middle rope on, I believe it was Kyle O'Reilly, and it looks like he heard it. And right there is your storytelling. How are we going to get an advantage on the Authors of Pain? Well, one of them's got a limp now. So that's where the Undisputed Era starts to kind of take control. And so the left leg, you know, it looked real. Because I put down in my notes here, was that real or kayfabe? Damn, it looked like a nasty drop. But from there, it's a lot of leg-related rest holds to keep the pace down.
So they Bret Harted him.
They Bret Harted him. They did Bret Hart the heck out of him.
That's the Bret Hart right there, man. Just work that leg.
Yeah, yeah. One of the I think it was Bobby Fish attempted to take out Akam on the side of the ring. Fails to do that, gets the hot tag, and starts to take them apart. It's really starting at this point to look like the Authors of Pain are going to take control here, and you get a little bit of back and forth here and there just to keep the match going a little longer, as tag teams do in pay-per-views. But then we get to the Exploder attempt. So we get to the end of the match. It looks like it's about over. We get to the Exploder, which is they get 2 power bombs. They go to tap the other guys and drop their power bombs. But Rezar is limping on his. So when he's about to drop his power bomb, instead, Akam's already dropped his power bomb. But then he's got Kyle O'Reilly up. He gets Hurricanrana into Akam, knocks him out of the ring, and then gets rolled up in a pin. So it's not like a clean finish win, but it's a Frankensteiner. So it's like a Frankensteiner. Hurricanrana tosses him out, tosses him into it, it was one of those things. You could tell they were trying as hard as they could to sell the chances that the Undisputed Era had with the limping big guy, and that's chopping down the tree is always a thing.
Yeah.
So, my description probably not that great. I should probably take a little bit better notes next time, or at least be a little bit more clear on my notes. But honestly, watching the match, just not off of my description, I gave it a 2.5 out of 3 count. It was really good. It was really close to perfect. But there were some points where I wasn't all in, but not majorly. Like it's that whole I got smart effect. Every so often, it's like, oh, come on, really? And it was probably the rest hold pace, right? can't fault him on that. That's how you tell this story. All right. And next is a borderline comedy match with Cassius Ono versus Velveteen Dream. Now, this had no build. Because, like, the NXT before, we were talking about Velveteen Dream got a match with Johnny Gargano to try to take Gargano's title shot away from him. And then all of a sudden, Velveteen Dream's got a match with Cassius Ono. So almost the entire build-up was during the pre-show where they were giving out the NXT year-end awards. And Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black were given Feud of the Year, which was received by Velveteen Dream, who then took the chance to cut a promo and say, in the first 30 seconds of this match, I guarantee I will knock out the knockout artist, Cassius Ono.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was him calling his shot. Now, he gets into the ring, and he's got kind of the Orlando... It's like Orlando Jordan done right, if you ask me. He's got he's got the shirt just covering the top of the chest. He's got boxing shorts on. Gets to the end of the aisle, and there is this big muscular dude holding a pillow that has his mouth guard, Velveteen Dream's mouth guard, and a really hot chick to help put it in his mouth. So they took all the overdone stuff they did with the Orlando Jordan being bisexual kind of ambiguity and just went all in and corrected all the wrongs here. So then we get Cassius Ono into the ring, and because he called his shot, the crowd wasn't gonna it was gonna hold him to his word. And as soon as the bell rang, the crowd starts counting to 30. Now,
man, you gotta love that NXT crowd.
Oh man, they're so like I want to be part of an NXT crowd because people actually love wrestling.
Right? Yeah.
And they're really close to these people. Like the people who go to NXT are big fans of wrestling. They've been watching a lot of the guys in the indies as well, and they just kind of grew with a lot of these wrestlers. So they really get into it. And I'm not even kidding. When they hit the 30 count, Velveteen hits a punch that knocks Cassius Ono to the ground. And then he starts dancing around the ring. He's telling the ref to do a 10 count. And I guess he forgot it was a wrestling match somewhere. Because I'm not even kidding. The ref, like, he's looking at Cassius Ono. Cassius Ono gets out. And just the nastiest forearm punch to Velveteen Dream. It's so good. So Cassius Ono then starts to take control. A lot of leg slapping strikes, man. Like, it's... If these were connecting and making that sound, I'm pretty sure Velveteen Dream doesn't have bones anymore. Oh, man. But eventually Velveteen Dream gets a spine buster, changes the pace of the match a bit. But the crowd the whole time is hot for Velveteen Dream. Like, he is over ever since this the Aleister Black feud.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
People absolutely love him. And then you even get the chants. The dueling chants are kind of there, but there's not many people chanting for Ono. I had to listen to hear what they were dual chanting because you get the Cena, let's go Cena, Cena sucks chant. In this case, it was I don't know what they were chanting, but when they were yelling for Ono, I was like, are they saying Ono or Cassius? Or I couldn't hear it. At one point, I had to yell, what year is it? Because Velveteen Dream throws a double axe handle off the top rope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a little old school.
Yeah. At one point, lots of punches get Velveteen Dream down. Running senton gets hit by Ono. Hits a Cyclone. He's got a kick. The Cyclone seems like a very busy Rainmaker. Because he spins out his opponent, then he spins and then tries to hit them. It looked a little ugly, if you ask me. And then just this really weird overdone DDT gets hit by a Velveteen Dream, but and then there's a big rolling elbow from Cassius Ono, get a kick out. Crowd's going hot. He gets a double Death Valley driver, like this rolling Death Valley driver on Ono. Then he goes to throw his, I think it's called the Purple Rainmaker, his elbow drop. He doesn't just go to the top turnbuckle. He goes to the top of the post behind. Get that extra 6 inches. Jumps, hits the elbow, gets the pin win. Velveteen Dream wins. I give it 1.5 out of 3 stars because during the match itself, there was a lot of, I want to call them overbooked moves. Because the moves themselves that they were doing were just like, it was a DDT. Okay, that's a lot of get there.
Yeah.
And I also feel like there wasn't a lot of the lack of build also meant there wasn't a lot of work between the two ahead of time. So, but I mean, it's better than bad, and it was definitely a match. It was a serviceable match, and Velveteen Dream is super over. I'm really looking forward to seeing how his future goes in NXT. All right,
it'll be great in NXT. It's when he hits main roster
that's when it's gonna get a little iffy because that kind of character on the big stage. I mean, we've
especially in front of the more casual fans.
Yeah, they've been able to get some success out of Goldust. I'm just more worried that they're gonna go to Orlando Jordan instead of Goldust. Goldust was more ambiguous about it. I think if they give him a smoking hot female manager, kind of like what they did with Adrian Adonis and Goldust and everybody, they might be able to sell the character on the more casual audience.
Yeah.
Or just leave him in NXT and give him a bigger paycheck than the rest if you have to, because he's such a good character that works in that environment. All right. So next up, we have the women's title match: Ember Moon versus Shayna Baszler. This is a really good match. Before I start my little gripe, and my little gripe before I get into this is I'm not a big fan of the current trend of MMA coming into my WWE. I was fine. Like Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn and Tank Abbott, when they did it, they still wrestled. I feel like these ladies are learning how to. And it's mostly ladies right now coming in from MMA. There are some men like Brock Lesnar left, came back, so he had the wrestling style.
Right.
But I feel like they're kind of learning how to fake MMA, and I don't know. It's a little weird. But that said, early in the match, Shayna Baszler does this disgusting thing with Ember Moon's arm, and I don't want to see this move get botched ever. Basically, she kind of bends the arm up against the floor, steps on the hand, and steps on the arm. It looks like she breaks her arm. It's disgusting.
I mean, I know that it had to be kind of brutal because Ember Moon came into the women's rumble the next night, still nursing the arm. So
yeah, and I'm not sure if that means it was real or if they're just they're kayfabing the hell out of it.
Yeah.
If you just have to see it to know just exactly how disgusting it looks, and it's brutal looking. But at the same time, Ember Moon is a very kicky, flippy girl. So she doesn't need an arm. She can flip and kick. Which is where I start, after this arm thing, there's a lot, again, of the working the armrest hold pace. Can't argue with it. This is the pace of the match. But eventually when Ember Moon moves, holy crap does she move. And, of course, we get a suicide dive, which means we get to hear Ronaldo say, was it Tope Suicido or whatever it is?
Yeah.
He gets so excited when he says that I cannot fault him on that.
It makes the matches, too, man. SmackDown Live has just been lacking because he's not there.
Yeah. I mean, I miss Ronaldo. I don't miss JBL, to say the least.
Right.
So, one of those names that I just said isn't there anymore. So, bring him back. Or put him on Raw. I mean, what's Coachman? What good is Coachman really? Right? So,
he's Baron Booker T.
Fair enough. But Booker T was a comedy angle, if you ask me. He's very funny in the grand scale of just how much he messes up. And this is a guy who can actually get verbally bullied by Corey Graves and Michael Cole.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was definitely, when we get into the Rumble, he was off his game on the Rumble. I think he knew he was leaving soon.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Anyway, there's a lot of this arm problem with Ember Moon, and it's really noticeable when Ember Moon throws the Eclipse, because she hits the Eclipse, and Baszler looks out, but Ember Moon is selling the arm so hard she can't even get over for the pin. When she finally does move over, kicks the doctors away from her and everything like that, she's immediately caught in an armbar. The longest armbar in history. It was borderline. It was close to Bob Backlund versus Bret Hart level of armbar. Like, I'm just sitting like, what is going on? Ember Moon is trying to get to the rope, and she's moving it enough to make it exciting. And it's like, oh my gosh, she's almost to the rope. Oh, no, okay. Oh, she's almost to the rope. Oh, no. Oh. And eventually it gets to the point where Ember Moon's like, the hell with it, and just sits on the legs when she gets her up and pins her. 3 count on that, and Ember Moon is the winner. And Shayna Baszler, as Baszler's been doing, throws a big tantrum at the end and attacks Ember Moon afterwards. So my wife had to check my pulse. I rolled my eyes so hard at this one because, like, well, this could just be over, could it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is my description of it. Armbar, gets to ropes. Armbar again. Oh God, this is taking a while. Pin out of armbar. Get fucked. But I give this match a 2 out of 3 because it was a lot more exciting. Were it not for the length of wrestles and the length of that last armbar, it could have easily been a 3 count to me. And I got to tell you, Ronaldo, not a fan of Baszler on this one, the way he was reacting. He was
wow.
She's a piece of garbage. She's the worst kind of human being. Like, whoa, man. Tell us how you really feel, dude. All right, and now we're getting into Country We Can Share, because you said you watched Adam Cole, baby, versus Aleister Black.
Yes, I did.
Now, I'm a big fan of the beginning of this match. The constant refusal of the weapons and the just sitting in the middle of the ring after all the counterplay. I loved it.
Okay, so the one part that did irk me, right, was the kendo stick, right? Like, oh, I go under the ring, I got a kendo stick. He looks across to the other corner, and Adam Cole's got a kendo stick, and they both get in the ring with a kendo stick. And at this point, man, I'm like, please God, have like some kind of sweet kendo stick lightsaber fight for just like 5 seconds. Just give me that, because it's always one guy's got a kendo stick and beats the other guy, but you never really get to see like actual dudes going like kendo stick fighting in the ring. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wanted to see something like that. I mean, well, how they did it was cool, but I was like, give me a few seconds of that, because that never happens.
Right. Yeah.
That I've seen.
I think it would have been nice if we could go back to a day where we had like a Steve Blackman who could do something like that, and have him do that with somebody. Because I remember when Blackman would get it, and he would like just smack a guy 4 or 5 times, looking like he knew how to use the thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So we start with Black staring down, doing the sit down thing. When Aleister Black does drop the kendo stick, Adam Cole, he just does this thing like, "Oh, you done screwed up now!" Like you can almost hear him say it. You shouldn't have done that. All right, cool. Oh man. But like they do a lot of the under the ring old school hardcore stuff. Like it was nice to see. It's been a while since we've seen something like this. I mean, they had a whole pay-per-view, the WWE called Extreme Rules, and we didn't see this kind of thing. Like
right, yeah.
So it's good to just see it all come out and be real. But it starts with Aleister Black tossing aside weapons for a lot of the beginning of the match. Then we get this really nasty backstabber with the kendo stick. Like what did he have it like across his throat and he did the backstabber or something to that effect? Yeah. Like everything about that just looked painful, and I think that's where Black's like, okay, maybe I should start doing some of this stuff. But the nastiest spot was the Black tries a moonsault. I think it was off the middle rope at Adam Cole, and he just gets baseball swing the kendo stick in the chest. It was so nasty.
Yeah, it was.
Man. And at some point in there, I think Adam Cole had the single-use garbage can, as we like to call them. And I feel like he cut his hand on that because blood started pouring out of his hand. To the point
Yeah, to
the point where the doctors came out and kind of off camera, he's like, do it quick, come on.
Yeah. So like he cut his hand, so there was a little bit of blood on like his leg and some on his like stomach and stuff, and yeah, I mean, so it was bleeding pretty good. Yeah, it was nasty.
Well, and this is actually the time where the crowd starts chanting, "Get the table." And the ref is getting his glove on to check to see to the blood. And I think Aleister Black just was like, okay, the ref needs some time. Let's get a second table.
Right, yeah. Obviously, forgetting the golden rule that he who sets up the table goes through the table.
Exactly, because that does come into factor eventually. He does this big electric chair spot where he has Adam Cole on his shoulders and then throws him forward and he lands ass first on the ladder. Oh man,
That looked painful.
yeah. Somewhere in the middle of the match, Ronaldo was trying to decide whether or not Aleister Black's loss in the four-way counted as a loss. Oh, at the grossest spot. At one point, Adam Cole sets up two chairs in the middle of the ring, face to face. Then he changes his mind and puts them back to back. And it looks like he's getting ready to toss Aleister Black onto this. And Aleister Black decides, no, I'm going to give you a Death Valley driver instead and throw your black back on it. I went into traction when I saw this.
Oh, yeah. I was just like, oh, man, there's no way to, like, protect yourself right there, man. Like, oh, my gosh. It looks so painful.
Yeah, I didn't see Adam Cole's feet, so I'm kind of hoping he landed curve, like, just kind of, it was mostly feet, and the back kind of just went, oh! But
I watched the replay, and that's why I look for too, right? To see if maybe his feet hit and, like, he could at least lessen, but I don't think they did, man. I don't think they did. I think he just took that straight in the spine, and I was just like, oh, I wonder how long that took off his career.
Yeah. Eventually, they're both on the ground. Aleister Black's going for another weapon spot, but then the camera work is really good because it looked like it was out of nowhere. Adam Cole hits him with a knee. Where the hell did that come from? Oh yeah, he was in the ring anyway, so if you were watching it live, it wasn't as cool of an effect. Eventually, Adam Cole super kicks Black with a metal trash can lid. We get outside of the ring, and this is where Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish start to make an appearance. And I'm starting to roll my eyes like, oh god, here's the interference. This is
right, yeah.
This is something I was planning. Is this how this is gonna end? Oh no. Because Sanity shows up. We have Eric Young and friends outside the ring helping out Aleister Black. Killian Dane's just standing in the ring. And I'm like, is he going to do what I want him to do? Because there's two big things that make me mark out Super. Flippy shit and Haas's doing cruiserweight shit.
and I literally had a conversation like when Killian Dane can sit there and do the tope suicido, like it almost gives warrant to those people who are like, I don't care about cruiserweights because they're this freaking 400-pound behemoth of a man can do the same thing.
Yeah,
it's insane, man. I was just like, now that was the first time I had seen him do it, and I was just like, holy crap, that is a really big fella.
Well, I don't know. Did you see War Games?
No, sadly not, man.
He did a coast to coast. Killian Dane did a coast to coast.
All right, now I gotta go back and check that out.
Go back and watch it.
I will.
So we got Killian Dane, and also throughout the event, they got the cameras on their new signees, being Ricochet, War Machine.
Right, yeah.
So another pair of Haas dudes doing cruiserweight stuff, and we also got EC3 signed to NXT.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
A lot of new faces, and one more that we'll talk about in the next match because it actually factors in. But yeah, so Killian Dane helps come save the day. Eventually, Adam Cole gets a super kick on Aleister Black again in the ring on his way back in. But then all of a sudden he gets a black mass out of nowhere.
Oh yeah.
He looked like a Street Fighter character the way he throws his kick sometimes, man. Oh god. And then so Aleister Black picks up the three count, and I give this match a 3 count. Oh my god, I was blown away by it.
It was really good.
Did you give it a 3 or?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, so it started out, and I was like, okay, I've seen this stuff before. You know what I mean? Like, all right, they're doing fine, and then just like, I think one of my favorite spots was, whenever. Didn't Aleister Black like basically drop double knees on Adam Cole through the table?
Oh yeah, through the announce table. Yep.
Oh, that was so sweet, dude. I was just like right there. I was freaking out. I was just like, oh my goodness, So, but yeah, definitely a 3 count because I just really enjoyed the match. They did some stuff that you don't see a lot. And there was and it was really competitive the whole way through.
Yeah, and this pace didn't slow down. Like,
No.
and these are like mid-sized guys. They're not cruiserweights. They're not hosses either. And they're moving the entire time. They're keeping the pace interesting, even when they're like you got a guy bleeding and they're trying to deal with it. Somebody's doing something that's got our attention, like getting a table. I also do appreciate that Aleister Black was reacting to the audience to get the tables.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that was cool because like they're like get the tables or whatever, and we want tables, and he's like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna get some tables out, and that was pretty cool.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want tables? I got a table.
Right.
Well, you know what's better than one table? Two tables.
Two tables.
Okay. And we come up now on our main event, Andreas Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling. Entrances, Almas had a really cool entrance. I really liked it. Like, he had the mariachi band all in lucha masks, and he comes out in a lucha mask because he is a third generation of lucha wrestlers. And, oh my gosh, Zelina Vega just has a face that I want to rip off. And that's good. Like, this is not a bad thing. She is a heel manager, obnoxious woman. And she's,
right.
Boy, is she ever playing the part, man.
She got
also,
the RBF.
Yeah. Like, I don't even think it's wrestling. I think it's just acting BF too, man. She got smiling bitch face easily.
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano comes out. He's got a huge pop. You got the little winky signs out in the audience. I wonder if those are plants, like the Bailey hugger sections.
I hope not.
That would be even more impressive if people actually this many people just printed that picture.
Right.
A friend of mine went to an event and he ended up in the hugger section, but they ask you if you're a Bailey fan beforehand. So
okay.
They don't just hand it to you if you're not a Bailey fan. Also want to point out, did you see the arms on the ref in this match? Like,
no, I
Holding
didn't.
up the belt, he looked like he was ready to go into this match.
That's his belt now.
Ripped, man. But it starts off with some really cool chain wrestling. Like, I really love when a match starts off with the chain. Like, I do a move, I counter your move. Well, no, I counter your counter to your counter, and you just move around, and they're in neutral position again, looking at each other. I love when matches start.
Right. It was just so good because it was just like one thing into another, and then they stop, right, and they go ahead and they take it in, right, because the fans are just going crazy over it because it's just they're doing such a fantastic job, and they did that a few times before they really started getting into some other stuff, which. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, at one point, this all leads to them getting outside of the ring, and Johnny Gargano misses, I think it was a flip. I got it right down here. Cool drop kicks and Frankenstein Hurricanranas. And every so often throughout the whole thing, once Almas takes over, you start to get a lot of shots of Candice LeRae. And we all know that Zelina Vega, she's been involved in Almas's matches. She is the heel manager. She gets in the face. She does obnoxious things. And I've been predicting the whole time, I feel like with Candice LeRae being signed and her being married to Gargano, she was going to play a factor.
Right.
Spoiler alert, I was right. But eventually, they keep this high pace for a while, but then they do have to kind of slow it down. And this is the rest holds I understood, where it's like these guys kind of have to take a break because they're going. The whole time, right?
That and it gives almost he's the bigger guy.
Yeah.
So it kind of, I hate the guys that go into the rest hold just by default, like the Jinder rest hold or the Randy Orton rest holds, and it's just come on. Yeah. But he was. It played into the story, right? He's a bigger guy establishing his dominance over the little guy, the underdog, So while it was a lull in the match a little bit, it was at least understandable and made sense.
I also want to point out this led to even more chain wrestling Because the escape from the breast hold was more chain wrestling, some more counters, which eventually ended up in I hate these and I love them at the same time. They're so brutal. The belly to belly suplex into the corner. Oh man, it makes me cringe every time, but it's also so cool looking. But there's a really cool spot in the middle there too, where Almas goes for a moonsault while Johnny Gargano's down from the top rope, misses but lands on his feet. It's like, fine, I'll just do a standing moonsault then.
That was good.
That was really good. They eventually get to chops and they're just slapping the crap out of each other at some point. Like I think they weren't slapping their knees. I think they were actually full open hands face slaps. I was worried one of them might have got knocked out. Oh man. There's a lot of really cool action, draping DDTs on the apron. A lot of action on the apron, actually, as a matter of fact. It did lead to the end eventually, but there's so much apron action on this. They use a lot of the ring in this.
Yeah.
So, and Johnny I haven't seen a lot of Johnny Gargano matches, but he does this one really cool thing where he kind of slingshots from the middle rope into the ring into like a spear almost.
Oh yeah, they called it the slingshot spear or something,
yeah.
Right? So I mean, it was pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, you nailed it on the head. That's what they kept calling it.
Yeah. And then there's another spot where you get like the snake eyes onto the middle rope from Gargano. I've seen it thrown on the top rope because I watch Kevin Nash all the time, and when I was younger, and he just kind of hits them, and at the top turnbuckle, it looks like what it does. But this, on the middle rope, for some reason, it looks so stanky. It looks so ruthless. Oh, well, eventually we, you can start to see Almas get frustrated. He gets outside of the ring and starts slamming Gargano onto the side of the ring apron. Like, it just viciously, like, it almost looks like he's in a fight. At one point, Selena Vega, then this is where things start to get towards a close. Selena Vega throws a Hurricanrana. Okay. Just, that's one way of being a heel manager, I guess.
Oh, right? Yeah. Like, when's the last time you saw a female heel manager throw a Hurricanrana on somebody?
Exactly. And then eventually the fight gets to the other side of the ring, which is near where Candice LeRae is sitting. Selena Vega looks like she's still ready to throw some shots at Gargano, and Candice LeRae is like, nuh-uh. She's not going to have any of it.
The crowd ate that up.
Oh, they loved it. She chased her right out of the arena too, kind of thing.
Yep.
But eventually it does come to a clean finish where Almas has Gargano outside on the apron again. He's resting his back's on the post, and you just get this nasty double knee into the chest.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like he just sells the knockout so well. Gets the hammerlock DDT, and Cien almost wins, and retains the belt. Gargano loses, and to add insult to injury, we're kind of watching Gargano get carried out of the ring by Candice LeRae. He's lost, he's beaten, and out comes Tommaso Ciampa with his crutch. The crutch with the crutch hits the guy who needs the crutch. Right. Oh,
no,
man.
I mean, I think we all kind of saw that coming, and I'm so glad that they did it after the match and not during.
And that's exactly the... I was looking at this when we got to the end of the match, and I turned to my wife and I said, I swear to God, if Ciampa screws up the end of this match, it's going from a three count match for me to a 2 count match for me. And it's a 3 count match.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But, that's the difference, I think, between NXT and the WWE main roster, right? NXT is like, no, like, this is a fantastic match. This is... And it almost makes me wonder if, like, maybe that was the plan. Maybe he was supposed to go out. I wonder if, like, they just realized that it was going so well that, like, they're just like, just hold off. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Change of plans.
Well, and I also feel like at some point they're watching them practice and go, I'm not letting them ruin this quality of wrestling with it, and especially not a main event. Like, I don't know. Maybe they watched because not too long ago, I think it was Impact. I think it was Slammiversary. They had a dusty finish on their main event, and people were pissed.
Yeah, I mean, and I think anybody who had doubts about Andrade Cien Almos being champ, like, and I know a lot of credit goes to Gargano because he's fantastic, but
Yeah.
man, I was really impressed.
Absolutely. Honestly, about a year ago, I didn't know who this guy was. I think I actually watched him
Yeah,
get squashed by Aleister Black. Like, the first time
right,
I actually
like,
saw him wrestle. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, okay. This guy's got game.
right, and like his manager has done a lot of that too.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to my friends who they're a little more familiar with NXT on a weekly basis.
Mhm.
They're like, ever since she came in, like he's just gone to a whole nother level. So
Yep.
it's working.
Yeah,
I
and you
was
know
really
what?
impressed.
He's got kind of that tranquilo kind of look to him, like the chilled out kind of guy. I think she
Yeah,
adds enough of the heel heat to him that the pairing kind of works. He does the
right.
work,
Yeah,
she does the character, and I think that's something that's really going to translate well in main roster for sure.
right. Yeah, because he's just got to pretty much work heel in the ring and let her bring all the heat.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that takes us now to the Royal Rumble. Now, did you watch the kickoff show?
No.
You know what I didn't realize? It was a 2-hour kickoff show. I missed the first hour.
Yeah.
There was a 3-on-3 cruiserweight match that I missed. There was a tag team match that I only caught the end of. The Good Brothers versus the Revival. Revival kind of getting themselves back together after the 25th anniversary burial, as it was.
Yeah, that was painful to watch.
Yeah. But it's that things like the Revival are good, but I think the injuries, I guess, affected Vince McMahon's opinion of them, and I guess he's soured on them a little. Hopefully
Right.
they can find their way back.
I think they will. Their promo style is unique, right? So they kind of like pull back. They pull back the covers or the curtains on stuff. You know, tell them basically the crowd that you're trying to get yourselves over, and we're not sports entertainers. We're professional wrestlers. So that's something that's unique to them. So
Yeah, and I hope I hope what they're doing right now continues because we'll talk about it later. But it seems like since then they're on a good streak.
yeah,
But where I did start to catch things. First of all, JBL is still a gigantic piece of crap. We had a quick interview at one point with Alundra Blaze, and they asked who she thinks she's going to win. And she was playing the, I don't really want to say. And JBL's like, that's not an answer! And it's just like, this is why nobody likes you, JBL. But Bobby Roode does the U.S. title open challenge, and Mojo Rawley answers. The audience starts chanting something. I didn't catch it. There's a lot of punching to start. Bobby Roode goes for an early glorious DDT. Lots of both guys just throwing each other out of the ring. Eventually comes to a huge football tackle outside of the ring where Mojo starts to pick up his momentum.
he starts the mojo. He's getting his mojo going.
Mojo's getting his mojo. Eventually we get the blockbuster from Bobby Roode. The story is Bobby is the whole match trying to get the glorious DDT. And eventually he finally gets it in this weird, it's like a tornado glorious DDT. I don't think you should ever try it again. Because he kind of gets him, turns around, lands on his feet, then glorious DDTs him. It's like, don't think we got the right effect there. I think you should try it on a cruiserweight. Anyway, it was a reasonable enough match. Bobby Roode was involved, so I gave it a 1.5 out of 3 on this one.
So, I saw it and just like it's something you could have had on SmackDown, and it still would have been boring then.
Yeah, exactly.
My honest opinion, and people probably hate me for this, is I feel like Bobby Roode is a theme song in a robe. His matches don't entertain me that much.
And the big problem on this one, I think, is that he came into main roster as a face. Heel Bobby Roode is a lot more entertaining than face Bobby
He
Roode.
was much more appealing in NXT,
Yes.
but just right now he's just super boring.
Yeah.
Like literally his character is a theme song, and it's bad because Dolph Ziggler literally is correct with his gimmick.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like, and this is the kind of mentality. It's like Vince McMahon saw him and he's like, "Oh, you got a robe." and people like your song. All right, let's use that. Whoa, wait, but okay, because he's also got a heel wrestling style, right? It's not very stylish. It's very brawlery, and
yeah.
So at some point, I think we gotta get heel Bobby Roode back, so that we can. He's more interesting and less boring. And I think this is the main roster transfers. Like some things get lost on the way up, or Vince isn't listening to his son-in-law as to what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
There's a few more interviews on the way in, including Ric Flair. Oh my God, man is still alive and still talking. We'll see him again.
A lot of talking.
Yeah. Oh boy, is he ever a big talker. We open up with a video package narrated by none other than Keith David. They spent money on that. I was like, you could have just got Paul Heyman again. He's on salary. And we start off with our handicap match. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. The Canadian heels versus the Georgian. All right, so it starts off with a little bit of the trolling tagging. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens likes to annoy his opponents, I'm noticing. Like, he's really good at just driving them up the wall at the start of a match. He tried something similar with Goldberg, where he just kind of walked out of the ring, walked back in. All right, I'm going to walk out. Are you annoyed yet? I'm getting it. This one, it was...
I love that, though. That's fantastic.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love this kind of heel tactic where he's just kind of like, hey, AJ, can you do this? Tag. And then it looks like AJ's got him cornered, and then Kevin Owens walks out of the ring, comes back around, and tags Sami Zayn again.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff just amuses me. Kevin Owens is just the fan, and his banter in the ring whenever he's doing stuff is just funny.
Yeah.
Just all the stuff that he does to make fun of people, or the stuff that he says. So. Yeah.
We get a lot of the standard Kevin Owens smack talk with the match. Eventually, the match does get into flow, and it's the flow of the tag team torture, I like to call it, where the tag you sit in the corner, you beat the crap out of the guy, you tag in, beat the crap out of the guy, tag in again, and so on and so forth. So it's not terrible, and it's really good flow to it. And just as we're getting into the tag team torture, my internet lags out. So it's like, oh no, what's going on? I come back, and apparently KO's got a leg injury and has missed a cannonball. So I hope I didn't miss anything important in there.
Not really. The only thing important in the whole match was the finish, which kind of sucked.
It was. There was one really cool thing. Sammy goes for a haluva kick, and it's countered into this like moonsault reverse DDT. Where like he misses the haluva kick because he gets moonsaulted over and he grabs his head and does a reverse DDT. But outside of that, honestly, it's just a lot of standard stuff from these guys. We get a really kind of iffy tag at the end, where at the end of it looked.
You mean iffy no tag?
Yeah, iffy no tag. That's correct. There was no tag after you see the replay and everything like that. But KO comes into the ring, gets pinned, the ref counts the pin, and AJ Styles wins a handicap match. There's a no-win situation when it comes to handicap matches, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It's like, you got two guys that now look bad because they lost, or you get one guy who, great, it took two guys to beat him up, right? And I had to watch him get beat up. Nobody likes I don't like the stipulation at all. And this is like, AJ Styles is in this match, so it's already got at least 1.5 stars or 1.5 count for me.
Right.
So,
I don't think I'd go above that.
No, I would. I don't think I'm going to go above that. 1.5 because AJ Styles is there. He's capable of making a French poodle look good in the ring, but nobody can.
Right.
Nobody can help a handicap match.
So a few problems that I had with this one, right, is it's transparent who's winning. You know that. We're not going to have our first ever, co-WWE champions. So AJ is going to come out. It keeps the finish plays into the story, right? Which the best part about making this match was when Daniel Bryan's like, okay, you're gonna face them both in a handicap match, and everybody's like, what is Daniel Bryan up to? What is going
Yeah.
on? Which was appealing, right? Probably
Yep.
the most appealing part about the match, considering you already knew pretty much who's coming out with the win. Then you go into the match. The no tag thing kind of, it doesn't make KO and Sammy look like they got beat, right? Because there was no tag. AJ still gets to walk out with the title, and then it continues the story. I still don't think it. I don't know. Like, I like that they're doing this story, but also I feel like I hope there's like a big plan at the end, man, because I don't need another Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt's title changed House of Horrors, transparent. Like, who didn't see, like, oh no, what do you mean Randy Orton really wasn't on with the Wyatt family the whole time? And you know what I mean? Like, who didn't see that coming?
No.
So I'm just hoping they got a good end to whatever this story is, because I feel like it has a lot of potential.
Yeah. And hopefully when we're talking about SmackDown a little later on, we kind of start to see where that's going to go. Meantime,
Right.
we have Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus the Usos in a best of 3 falls match. I like Shelton Benjamin as a wrestler. I don't like what's going on with him right now. I'm just going to say that right now. I am not a big fan of him. Whatever's going on with him, they need to get it under control and figure it out. And now this is possibly the weirdest best 2 out of 3 falls I've ever seen in my life. It's a really long time till we get to the first fall. That's not a usual case for a best 2 out of 3 falls. Usually, it's one team either gets a really quick one and the other one's playing from behind, or we get one each and then we get into this really really weird this kind of sudden death. But then I look at that and I say, well, then what was the point of it being a 2 out of 3 falls? Anyway, so it's a long time before we get, and it's really typical Usos and Gable's kind of style. But we get the first fall from the Usos, and Benjamin and Gable really kind of start to do the bully act. They're about to do their double team finishing maneuver, and then Jimmy Uso flips into a pin, and Gable's just out of reach on the top rope, and 2 falls to 0. Never seen this in best of 3.
Yeah.
So
I was a little like, I was just like, okay, well, that's interesting. I'll take that. That doesn't ever happen. So that was, at least it was kind of unprecedented. But at the same time, I don't know. It's like maybe they were running short on time because you got 2 Rumbles in one card.
Or
I have no idea.
I feel like they did want to do something different. I don't want to take away from the fact that it was a really good match throughout it. Like, both teams can really wrestle. Although Gable did, I don't think Gable threw an actual German suplex the entire time. Because it's
I really feel like they need to take. Go ahead.
It's one of his things, but I think German suplexes need to take a bit of a break because Brock Lesnar's overusing them. It used to be my favorite wrestling move, and now I'm bored of it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like if you look at the U.S. title picture on SmackDown, they're like pulling dudes out of tag teams, right?
Yeah.
And like, why not Shelton Benjamin? Why not Chad Gable? Like, Shelton Benjamin's already proven he can be a singles competitor like a decade ago.
Yeah.
And then Chad Gable is a fantastic wrestler, so I don't know, man. I think you're holding both of those two back it's not that they're a bad tag team, but just, I don't know. I feel like they could be doing more.
Absolutely agree, 100%. I'm also a little sad that the Money in the Bank this year is a Raw pay-per-view and not a SmackDown pay-per-view, because Shelton Benjamin knows how to do that match. And it's one of the
That's
things
for sure, yeah.
It's one of the things that made me his biggest fan, is the fact that every single Money in the Bank match that he was in, I was always like, after the first one, it's like, where's the Shelton Benjamin spot? Give me something good with him, and he always delivered. The first one, he did this like weird Matrix walk up a ladder to go clothesline Edge off the top of it. And then the second one of the ladders gets draped over the ropes, and he just kind of jump into the entire crowd. Like, he just, I want my Sheldon back.
Right? Yeah. You know, we're so used to all the crazy cool stuff he could do in the past, and now he's relegated to losing 2 falls to none.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Especially after the good promo that they cut on SmackDown Live before.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and I was really starting to buy the heel Gable, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then they just like killed the momentum immediately, so I don't get it.
All right. And immediately after this match is the male Royal Rumble. The men's Royal Rumble is the 3rd match on the card. We get Jerry Lawler in commentary, and I do love having Jerry Lawler on commentary for a Royal Rumble because I get to hear at least 30 different people are going to win it.
This guy's my pick now. Now this guy's my pick.
Oh, this guy just came in. He's my pick for the win.
I love when he picks the most like illogical people as his pick too. Like know that guy's not winning, but it's nice to at least get a little shout out, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, so I got our pace and I got our times here. The first 2 in the ring are Rusev and Finn Balor. I want to take a second to remind everybody, Happy Rusev Day.
Right? Oh my God, was Rusev over or what, dude?
Oh man, he has got people behind him. Oh boy.
Let's just hope that, you know, WWE listens and they're not like, how dare you get yourself over?
Yeah. All right. So 3rd into the ring is Rhino. Rhino is looking like a rhino these days.
Oh my goodness. Everything fell downward. But I mean, like, it's, and you know what's crazy? And I like, so Rhino comes out in Philadelphia and there's like no EC dub chant.
Yeah. Well, where was that, guys?
Yeah. I mean, I was like expecting it, right? It's the home of ECW and there's no ECW. Every other freaking place chants ECW whenever Rhino comes out, except for the place where ECW was born.
Yeah.
So that was confusing to me.
Now, Rhino comes in after minute 30, and then after another minute 30, we get Baron Corbin. Corbin's first act is to remove Rhino from the ring. So he does. Corbin comes in, and he lays waste to everybody, gets Rhino out of the ring, but then gets blindsided by Finn Balor and gets knocked out himself and throws a Baron Corbin tantrum.
Which is extremely violent.
It is. He annihilates everybody in sight, including a minute and 53 seconds later, Mr. Heath Slater. Number 5 into the Rumble. He gets murdered by Baron Corbin with a giant clothesline on the ramp, but continues to crawl towards the ring. Not much time passes. A minute 20 passes after here, and we get Elias with his guitar in hand, and everybody is dead. So he's gonna sing.
Of course, right? And like the crowd was really into that too. I mean, so I remember whenever he first started doing this, it was just all booze. But now, like, people are like, you know, chanting along with him, and he's actually getting as many cheers as he is booze. You know what I mean? So it's working.
No matter how hard he tries either, because at one point he talks about how he's going to spit on the Rocky statue. And he still can't get booed in the middle of the song. But
the only time he gets booed is whenever he says, I need you all to turn off your cell phones and shut your mouths, and then they boo him. But then right after that, they cheer him again.
He gets 2 minutes and 15 seconds to shine before number 7, Andreas Cien Almas comes in. After the match he had the night before, I'm surprised he can walk.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right? And then after, as Cien Almas throws a kick at Heath Slater, who's still on the ramp at this point, on his way to the ring. Gets into the ring, starts joining in the Rumble himself. Number 8, we are joined by Bray Wyatt. He comes in, gets to the end of the ramp. There's Heath Slater kind of struggling to get towards the ring. Blows out the lantern, throws Heath Slater into the barrier.
Oh, so fantastic. Also, you gotta love that Bray blows out like a battery-operated lantern.
I appreciate his timing on it. It's like, click.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, I'm just like, nobody believes that like you're actually blowing out that lantern.
Yeah. Bray gets a minute 50 to shine before Big E shows up. He gets to Heath Slater and sees the poor man struggling, throws him some pancakes.
Right?
Shoves
I
him
think
right
he
in
tries
his
to
mouth.
put one in his mouth, right? Yeah.
He's just trying to get him the carbs. You need the carbs, you need the energy,
Right,
right?
yeah, exactly.
I think that's what Corey
Exactly.
Graves said anyway. Big E gets a minute 49 to shine before number 10, Ty Dillinger's music starts to play.
I love this part.
Cuts to the backstage, and there we see the back of Ty Dillinger as KO and Sami Zayn are stomping a mud hole in him. And Sami Zayn says, I'm on my way to the match. And he beelines it. Sami Zayn takes the number 10 spot, throws a little kick at Heath Slater himself.
Which, come on, that is so good. Like, I was laughing so hard when they're just like beating him up in the back and just steal his Rumble spot.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So good. Poor Ty Dillinger, though.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, you barely ever see him anymore, and now he's just getting whooped. So
I feel like Vince is really pissed at the 10 chants during the referees' counts.
that must be it.
Yeah. So we get a minute 2 minutes for that because of the backstage segment to extend the time. Then number 11, Sheamus shows up. My internet lags out. I come back and Sheamus is like, what happened? I get a quick rewind on it. Heath Slater gets tossed in by Sheamus. Sheamus gets into the ring and is immediately knocked out by Heath Slater.
I love that everybody was like me and started booing whenever he threw Heath Slater into the ring.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I was really wanting to see how long that was going to go.
They should have gone all 30. He should have been the
Oh my
actual
God.
last man into the ring.
That would have been so good.
And then we have, after this, we have... Wyatt. Bray Wyatt then eliminates Heath Slater. And then Xavier Woods joins the fight. A minute 40 later, we have Apollo Crews. And then a minute 13 after Apollo Crews, we have Shinsuke Nakamura. Crowd pops quite a bit. And Nakamura reignites his feud with Zayn as he knocks out... He knocked out a couple people, but Sami Zayn was one of the ones he talked out. We'll just go through and then we'll talk about who knocked out who from here, and any high spots from here. So Cesaro is in after Shinsuke Nakamura. Kofi Kingston's after Cesaro. I keep calling. I want to call Sheamus and Cesaro Cesaro.
Yeah, right.
Kofi Kingston's escape spot was. It's so hard to make him even more interesting. This one was just comical. He's eventually Jinder Mahal gets in at number 17. Jinder Mahal takes out Xavier Woods and Big E. What is it? It's a setup. You see?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, who did not see this coming from a mile away, right? Oh, there they go. So something's going to happen with Kofi now.
Now, prior to that, Cesaro had taken out Apollo Crews. Nakamura has taken out Sami Zayn. Jinder tries to take out Kofi Kingston. And Kofi Kingston lands 1 foot on Xavier Woods.
Xavier, yeah.
It's great. Seth Rollins comes in, monkey flips Cesaro out of here. Big E gets a plate of pancakes for Kofi Kingston to put his still hasn't touched the ground foot on, and then they kind of Xavier Woods and Big E lock arms and do like a cheerleader jump. Kofi Kingston goes over Jinder Mahal, over the top rope, back into the ring. He eliminates Jinder Mahal.
So I seriously thought for a minute that he was going to, like, lead a little trail of pancakes on the floor over to where the stairs were, and then Kofi was going to walk up the stairs.
That's what I was hoping too, but I feel like the pancakes would smush, and there's like an inconsistency to them that would have caused them to go, yeah, right. We kind of have to...
Oh, no, you're eliminated, yeah. Then the spot's ruined.
Exactly. But Kofi doesn't get much time because Almas throws him out of the ring. We are then joined by Woken Matt Hardy, who they've really got to figure out what they're going to do with.
Yeah.
Like, it started, okay, we're getting broken, not quite broken, but kind of broken Matt Hardy. What are you guys doing with this?
Like, tell me the last person who, like, benefited from a feud with Bray Wyatt. I'll wait.
Oh, we got to get to the rest of the show.
It's like not somebody who came out with the wins, but somebody who actually benefited.
Yeah. Oh, okay. If we go back through his last couple things, we're currently in Matt Hardy. Prior to that was Finn Balor, but then he got sick before the cleanup to that.
Well, thank God, because it was going to be terrible. Cross-dressing Bray Wyatt versus the Demon.
Wouldn't have been happy with that. Randy Orton's already bored with wrestling as much as I'm bored with him, so...
That's the damn truth.
And, I mean, yeah, prior to that, I think Bray Wyatt got the belt at the Elimination Chamber. Yeah.
Right, only to set up for Randy to get it from him, though.
So, yes, you're correct. And there's no winning in a feud with Bray Wyatt. And there's no winning for the Woken universe right now with this the way they're going right now.
Right.
But if the rumors of them hiring Jeremy Borash are any indication, maybe we're going to get a little bit of better work out of that, because he was apparently the guy behind the scenes doing all the editing and setting up on the Broken universe. So
well, maybe they really couldn't hurt to move Matt over to SmackDown where he could work in the mid card.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, because the mid card on Raw is bloated as crap. You got former world champions like resorting to being on tag teams together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So we're gonna get a bit of a standoff between Hardy and Wyatt. They decide they're gonna double up on Rusev, and then they knock each other out. We hit a minute 25 later. John Cena enters the ring. Now I gotta say, this is the best thing I saw in the Rumble, where John Cena comes into the ring and everybody starts beating the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah, that was so good.
So good.
Not this year, John.
Nope. Number 21, watch out! There's a hurricane coming through.
Right, like who expected that? That was a good one.
That was the best swerve ever, even though 30 seconds later John Cena threw him out after throwing out Elias.
Right. I would have liked to see him get a few things in.
John Cena
it was cool to see him
in front of his face for the "you can't see me" because they're using him to bury people. Aiden English is then in at number 22, sings his way in, gets thrown out by Finn Balor. Randy Orton comes in. He's responsible for getting rid of Almas. Number 25 is Titus O'Neil, who's been doing better lately. Sorry?
With the Randy thing, the best tweet I saw about that was, I'm pretty sure Randy Orton has no idea who he eliminated.
Absolutely. Not a chance. He's like,
who's this guy?
You go. You don't belong here. I'm
right,
bored.
yeah.
I'm really bored. I just want to be done with this. All right. So after Aiden English, Adam Cole, baby, ribs taped and everything. So we're really getting some interesting bods in this, to say the least. So Aiden English, Adam Cole, then Randy Orton. We have Titus O'Neil. Number 26, The Miz. And then number 27, out of nowhere and looking fantastic, Rey Mysterio.
That is true. Yep.
He's cut to hell now, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he doesn't have to follow that WWE health policy whenever he's over the other places. So
fair point.
I'm not allegedly.
He has I apparently his Instagram has got like a lot of pictures of him from the gym that are just buffed to hell. So
yeah,
he's putting in the work. Then Ray is followed by Roman Reigns to booing. Roman Reigns gets 2 minutes and 40 seconds to shine, followed by Goldust, who gets a minute and 10, and Dolph Ziggler wraps it up. Dolph Ziggler from out of nowhere, and also
right, yeah. How does Roman always get these late spots in the Rumble, man?
I don't know. I'd swear somebody named Vince McMahon must like him.
Oh.
So Ray comes in. He eliminates Adam Cole, baby. Roman gets rid of Titus O'Neil, The Miz, Seth Rollins. Well, after he gets rid of The Miz, Dolph Ziggler gets rid of Goldust. Balor knocks out Dolph Ziggler. Then we're left with Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor, and John Cena.
John Cena.
Old and the new. You have Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, and John Cena on one side of the ring. Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, and Shinsuke Nakamura at the other side of the ring. So you get kind of the old versus new standoff towards the end there. What we got here?
Even though Shinsuke is like 37.
Yeah. He's old, but he's new to the WWE.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like old guard versus the new faces, right?
Yeah. Roman Reigns gets rid of Randy Orton, a little bit of bittersweet revenge from last year. Balor gets rid of Mysterio, small guy on small guy action, whatever. Cena gets rid of Balor, that burial will continue. Shinsuke Nakamura gets John Cena out of the ring, and then it's Nakamura and Reigns in one hell of a final, followed by Nakamura knocking out Roman Reigns to become the Royal Rumble winner of 2018, where he is interviewed and then challenges AJ Styles.
Which is like exactly what I wanted all year long. So
everybody wanted, and I went back and looked at their New Japan Pro match. Oh man!
Oh, from Wrestle Kingdom 10.
Close to that. They come even close to that. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, I mean, I just like. So whenever it was down to Roman and Shinsuke, I was like, they're doing this on purpose, right? They're trying to mess with us because literally it's going to either become like the best Rumble in years or it's going to be Philly's going to riot.
Yeah. Well, that would be if John Cena won.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, it was just... I was like, please, God, let Shinsuke win, because I just didn't even want to watch the rest. It's like, and I'm not even a Roman hater. I just knew that it was just going to get ugly. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of just want the Roman experiment to culminate. But unfortunately, you have to wait for WrestleMania for that. You know what I mean?
Right, but here's the thing. It's like they've tried to culminate the Roman thing several times over already, and just nobody wants to buy. Well, I mean, not nobody, because, I mean, I've been in the arenas. There's the little high-pitched squeals from the kids.
Yeah.
It's very Cena-esque as far as, like, the women and the kids are always like, let's go Roman. And then, you know, all the adult males like us, crusty old farts, you know, we're just like, no, I'd actually like to see somebody other than Roman win some stuff. And, you know, every once in a while they throw us one like, okay, we'll have, you know, Braun beat him in an aimless match to pacify all you old guys.
Yeah. There has to be somebody the size of Braun, too, you know?
Right, and the other thing is, like, we've all already known, like, that he's going against Brock at WrestleMania, so there was literally no point in having him win the Rumble, because he's getting a title shot anyway.
Exactly.
And it's like, Elimination Chamber's coming up, you know who's winning already.
Yeah. And you know what? That's what I figured they would do, and I'm okay with it. Like, honestly...
Yeah, as long as it's a good match.
Yeah, and it gives somebody else a chance to shine, which was also kind of a giveaway. We knew a SmackDown guy would win again, so.
Yeah, and it just,
But that's okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good talent on SmackDown.
There are, yep.
All right, so after this, the crowd is just annihilated. They are quiet as we go to The Bar versus Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan. I'm going to make this quick because this match doesn't deserve the amount of time that it would take to describe it. At one point, Jason Jordan gets pushed into the post outside of the ring, and he starts acting like he has a concussion. It becomes a handicap match because Seth Rollins is getting beat up by The Bar. He goes for the hot tag, and the hot tag is Jason Jordan comes in, touches his head, comes back, tags Seth Rollins back in, and then sits outside of the ring. Seth Rollins gets finished. The Bar are the tag team champions again.
Thank God.
I hope this is like we're getting to the Jason Jordan heel turn soon because I'm done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, so this is the thing. If it happens and it's good, then they've done a fantastic job with long-term booking, right? Because you go from like, God, this is so transparently fake, and then you go to like, he's so annoying, but he's doing a good job being annoying.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just the way they've been really playing it up, like the Rollins and Roman and him like trying to jump in their circle or whatever, and them being like, what's this guy trying to do? So, I mean, like, if it turns out well in the end, then it ends up being one of those ones that you're going to remember for a long time because it was interesting, you know? But if it turns out crap at the end, it's just going to be a waste of, like, 6 months of our lives.
Yeah. All right, so next up we have the triple threat of the biggest proportions ever. Kane, Brock Lesnar, and Braun Strowman. There's a lot of big guys in a very, very small space.
Yeah.
I think one of the best comments is Corey Graves described this as all the monsters from Pacific Rim fighting. There is a spot in here where Braun goes to throw a knee at Lesnar's head, and I guess he slips. And Lesnar has
and
a little
puts
bit
a pretty
of
good Lee on him.
One punch tantrum about it. Like like it looks like Braun just got got what he deserved from Brock for it, or he just got like a Brock Lesnar punch in the head. Oh man,
yeah.
If they planned that, Braun Strowman is the bravest man I've ever met in my life.
I don't think it was planned. I think
so
what
either.
happened, you know, and it used to be a thing. Like you'll hear the old timers talking about it, how like somebody would work stiff and you just give them a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. I think that maybe Brock thought, and you could actually he told him slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like right, and punched him in the head. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Braun moves at the pace of, like, he doesn't jump and flip like a cruiserweight, but he moves at the pace of a cruiserweight, and he's in the match with where his opponents are combined like 650 pounds as well. Like,
yeah,
you got to slow down for them at the very least.
I mean, and the thing is, they can't athletically keep up with Braun.
No.
Like, of course, Brock could when Brock was younger.
Yeah.
He was a freak, right? But like these days. He can't. Neither one of them guys can keep up with the speed or the power. You know, Braun's a younger guy, and he's big, and he's freakishly strong and fast. And like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I love Braun. He's probably my favorite. But
and Braun does still have a little bit of the rookie dust to get off, right? So
yeah,
like we got to get some of the packaging off of him still to get the right committing to him. But man, is this ever a hell of a Haas fight. There's a lot of big throws, and at one point they also remember that triple threat matches are no disqualification. Tables and stairs. It's a table, ladders, and stairs match.
right.
And some chairs too.
Yeah.
Finishers were thrown every which direction at one point. Power slams through tables all over the place. I think one of the coolest the coolest pin rescue I've ever seen was Braun Strowman. Lesnar's got a pin going. Braun Strowman picks up Lesnar and like dump German suplexes him, like deadlifts him off.
Yeah.
Like dumps him out of the ring.
I was like, what's going on here at first? And I was like, oh, okay, gotcha. You're gonna fling a grown man around.
Braun Strowman goes for the German announce table first this time, so the Spanish announce table's got second place on this one.
Right.
But Brock does get his table revenge from Survivor Series. He does put Braun Strowman through a table, then flips the table on top of him, and then a little later, Braun Strowman's like, "Oh yeah, I don't like this," and just throws it off of him.
Yeah.
But Braun does have to eat an F5 off of the table for his troubles. He gets 2 power slams in on, and eventually Brock pushes Kane into Braun. Braun's outside of the ring. F5 onto a chair. Kane eats the pin, which is why he was there.
Yeah, which was so transparent. Like, we all knew it was there, or why. Well, at least all the people who are nerds and keep up with everything wrestling.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
it was fairly obvious.
Yeah, he's got to go be mayor.
Right, yeah, maybe. If he
as
wins.
As far as a very quick, fast-paced, big man match, I gave that a 2 out of 3, because that was good. Like,
yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, we all knew the outcome, but despite that, the match was really good, and it was entertaining.
Yeah, I don't mind knowing the outcome ahead of time, as long as I'm going to be entertained to get there.
Right,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's all about this. It's all about the trip. So then we wrap it all up. The main event is the Ladies' Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, as it were. First two in the ring are Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Go figure.
Right.
Like they were bound to be one of them was gonna be the Iron Woman of the match. It was
right.
A given.
And it's funny because I was at this party with a big group of people. We were watching it, and I said, I think it was about halfway through the Women's Rumble, and I said, you know what's funny that we do with this Women's Rumble that we would never do with the Men's Rumble is be like, I really like, the outfit that so-and-so is wearing out to the Rumble, or, man, I haven't seen so-and-so in years. She looks fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's like, I really like what Braun Strowman wore out to the Royal Rumble today.
No, I'm not going to lie. I did do that about Rey Mysterio. He looks fantastic.
Right. But, like, nobody was like, I really enjoy what Rhino wore out there today. It looked really good. It looked cool, But, like,
it's very true.
Sasha's wearing, like, the Wonder Woman, like, ring gear, which looked really cool.
We're comic nerds. That was the first thing we noticed.
Right. But then, like, and then Becky's outfit was kind of cool, so...
It's not on the level of her Horizon Zero Dawn outfit from WrestleMania, though.
That was so cool, yeah.
Awesome. All right. So third into the ring is Sarah Logan. Fourth in is Mandy Rose. And then fifth is our first of many returning faces, Lita, to a huge pop.
With a weird outfit.
Yeah. Mr. Thong, I'm not going to lie, but I think there's a lot more athletic. Her body has been demolished. Ever since that accident on the Dark Angel set, her body can't win. I'm pretty sure she's hiding like all kinds of body support underneath that outfit.
Well, at that point, like, some people were very drunk at our party, and one guy yelled out, "Oh, by God, Lita's replaced her thong with some granny panties." I was like, "Oh no," Yeah. I thought she was going to kill herself on that moonsault.
Oh my God! There's one thing. She hasn't missed a beat because that's how she always used to throw the moonsault too, just without jumping. It's like her head. I hurt myself doing that once. Like that landing like that on the moonsault doesn't tickle. It also doesn't do great on the memory. Let me tell you. So Lita manages to eliminate Mandy Rose, and then to my personal pop, 2 minutes and 30 seconds later, Kairi Sane. Number 6. Myself and my daughter, big fans of Kairi Sane. My daughter likes her aesthetic, and I like her energy. She's so awesome. She gets
and that elbow drop.
Oh, it's she threw like two of those elbow drops, and that walking the plank thing is just hilarious. I loved it. She even threw a double spear at one point in there too. So I was like,
oh yeah. So like at our party, man, the majority of the people had never seen her before, right?
Okay.
And when she dropped that elbow, everybody was like, "Oh my God, that was so amazing!" And I was like, "Yeah, she's pretty cool."
she's pretty famous for that.
Yeah, pretty famous for dropping that bow on somebody. It's just I think it's the best looking wrestling elbow drop I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even better than Macho Man, and I love Macho Man.
I love me some Macho Man, but Macho Man doesn't get those legs up like she does, man. She kind of just does this.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
It's so pretty. Number 7 is Tamina, who's not long for this, as she gets eliminated by Lita. We are followed by Dana Brooke. In the meantime, Becky Lynch eliminates Lita. Dana Brooke comes in and eliminates my lady, Miss Kairi Sane. Now, don't get me... Dana Brooke looks great. Still.
Yeah.
And I feel like she needs a little bit more practice on her timing, but she's got a lot of potential that I think is being squandered. And
worldwide?
Yeah, I mean...
It's weird not seeing her in, like, the outfit that she normally wears. So...
Yeah. I mean, it's good to see her in wrestling gear again, to say the least, but...
Yeah.
Number 9 is Tori Wilson, or at least somebody claiming to be Tori Wilson, because that woman does not look like Tori Wilson.
Right? Yeah, she looks completely different. She had like a 6-pack abs and everything, man.
Yeah. And she eliminates Dana Brooke. Up next, number 10 is Sonya Deville, who gets rid of Tori Wilson. Then number 11 is Liv Morgan. Then number 12, from out of nowhere, Molly Holly.
Which was awesome.
Amazing.
Right?
Like, I expected more NXT ladies than a lot of the ladies from history. I was happy to see a lot of them. And a lot of them still got it. Like, Molly Holly still got it, man.
Oh, yeah. And we got to see Mighty Molly and Hurricane in the same night.
It would have been so good to see her in the Mighty Molly outfit, but she doesn't have the hair for it. She has a Molly Holly hair, so.
She's got the let me speak to your manager haircut.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
She got the mom haircut now, but she did look fantastic. She did a really good job.
Number 13 was Lana, who I thought would be the comedy act and is not. She tried really hard.
Prompted more Rusev Day chants.
Yeah, we did get more Rusev Day chances as a result of that. Number 14, Michelle McCool, who was booked like The Undertaker.
Yes, she was.
Came in. She eliminated Sonya Deville, Liv Morgan, Molly, and Lana.
Right, and so that was during my lull. So I was like, was she always that good, or
I don't remember her being any good in comparison. What? She stumbled a bit. She was having a little bit of trouble finding her footing. But other than that, she came in and just threw bodies.
Oh yeah. Then and the women's rumbles is different, right? Other than people like Nia or Tamina, who are the big, the big hosses that come in and clear the ring, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a story we get into a little bit later, until we get to number 15, Ruby Riott. She comes in, does a little bit of wrestling. Then number 16, I've never wanted to rip my ears off of my body so badly. We get Vicky Guerrero.
Excuse me.
Oh, man.
I was just like, oh my god, no, what the hell is that?
She comes in, Sasha, Michelle McCool, Becky, and Ruby all pick her up and gently place her, and she still manages to look like she hurt herself on the way out. And when she gets thrown out comes Carmella, does a little bit of smack talking, then Vicky Guerrero grabs the briefcase and hits Carmella with it, and I think for a second we're going to get our new Heath Slater, and I'm very close.
Oh, I know it, right? That's why I was like, oh, here we go.
Because Natalya comes out, takes off her jacket, takes off her sunglasses, because you got the whole Hart family look going, drops it on Carmella, and gets into the ring. And Natalya gets rid of The Undertaker, Michelle McCool.
Right, yeah, there you go. Take that, Undertaker.
And I don't want to take it away from the women. They did fantastic work here, but it was really weird seeing, and we're going to talk about it a little later, seeing some of the women who are husbands of big superstars getting booked like those superstars in some cases.
Right.
Ugh. So after Natalya, we get Kelly, who was never a wrestler, still isn't a wrestler.
Yeah.
She looks fantastic.
Also, really stupid name.
Yes.
I think there were a couple angles of Kelly that they may have lingered on.
Probably shouldn't have.
A little long.
As long as they did.
It's I was like, are they going to pull away from there, or are they just going to zoom right in on her crotch and hold it there for the next 30 seconds? Because that's what it felt like. It's almost awkwardly long, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think she was wearing a jacket that didn't cover much. She was wearing a bikini top that covered even less. And she looked like Kelly of the old days, just next to no clothes. She did not manage to eliminate anybody either. No, because eventually of somebody who comes in later. So after Kelly, we get Naomi. She just comes in, wrestles a little. Number 21, Jacqueline. Doesn't look like she's aged a day.
Didn't expect that. Yeah.
Still, though, with the new collection of women we have, and we have a lot of them in the ring this time, I didn't realize exactly how short Jacqueline was. Oh my god, was she so short? she's like Alexa Bliss short. My god. And then number 22, Nia Jax hits the mat. Before that, Ruby Riott manages to get rid of Becky Lynch, but Nia Jax goes Godzilla on Jacqueline, Kelly, Ruby Riott, and Naomi. Eventually Naomi, because Naomi pulls a Kofi Kingston in this one.
Oh gosh, yeah, she got the Kofi spot.
Yeah, because there's a couple women outside of the ring. Nia Jax throws Naomi over the top. She gets caught and put on the banister. And then she walks her. She kind of drives along the banister so she gets to the announce table or to the timekeeper's table. Grabs a chair, puts her feet on the chair, and kind of waddles her way up to the steps. Gets up the steps, gets to the top rope, gets caught by Nia Jax, and immediately thrown out.
So I was thinking she was going to do the spot where you jump to the ring, and I was like, man, that would really suck if she misses that jump, right?
I think that's probably what the original plan was, and then she might have second guessed herself late on.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I don't know for sure. But then while this is happening, Ember Moon gets called in. Now, one thing I noticed about the Women's Rumble is there's a lot of rolling out of the ring. There's a lot of women taking some time to get out of the ring instead, so it's really hard to tell who's in, who's not in. So
Nia took quite a break there for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. A very big break. But Ember Moon came in.
Which is acceptable. She's a big girl, and she was putting in some work.
Yeah, and she fell hard out of that middle rope spot. But Ember Moon comes in, still nursing the arm from the night before. So they're still selling. Either they're still selling that, or she really hurt it. If she really hurt it, though, I don't think she'd actually be in the ring.
Yeah.
She tries to go to town on Nia Jax. Gets tossed under the ropes as well. And then in number 24, Beth Phoenix comes in.
Right, which I was happy to see that.
I was glad to see her, and she's still looking fantastic as well too. Very much in shape. Barely missed a step. Maybe a little crow's feet, but whatever, right? I mean, we all age a little. I'm graying. I'm 35, so whatever. Beth Phoenix and Natty tried to do a number on Nia Jax. Beth Phoenix actually gets Nia Jax up on her shoulders at one point. Can't get her out of the ring, though. Natty and Beth Phoenix toss Nia Jax out the middle rope, and then Natty, being a true heart, tosses Beth Phoenix out for her short trip.
True Canadian heel.
True Canadian heel. True North Strong.
Tosses another woman married to a true Canadian heel. Edge.
Exactly, an Edge. That's right. There is no honor among true Canadian heels. This is the one place we're not polite, is the wrestling ring and the hockey rink. And our geese. Our geese are assholes too. But number 25, Asuka, who comes in, makes some faces with... Asuka has this new bounce to her on the main roster. She's just kind of like, yeah, I'm happy to be here, kind of thing. And she starts pointing at the arm like, what the hell happened to you? What did you do? What's going on? I leave you for a day and you're hurting yourself? Asuka eliminates Ember Moon. We are then joined by number 26, Mickie James. Still active, so, I mean, we've known how Mickie James is looking. Her hair is done up, though, and it looked really weird.
Yeah, I thought she looked a lot like Sindel from Mortal Kombat.
Exactly, like she was 2 arms short, but otherwise...
I was like, pick them up with your hair and throw them out.
Yep. And then number 27, Nikki Bella hits the floor, and my daughter has the line of the night because I let her stay up and watch, and she's like, why is she shaking her booty? My little 9-year-old daughter. It's just like, I don't know, Alexis. I don't know what to tell you, honey.
I'm still amazed by the pops that they get whenever they come out.
Yeah.
I've never been a big Bella fan.
No, me neither. Nikki Bella gets rid of Carmella, and then we're joined by her twin, Brie Bella. Now, remember what I was saying about booking the wives like their husbands? Nikki Bella is acting and getting booked like John Cena, and in comes Brie Bella, beats everybody up, and starts yes-handing. And I'm just like, some people are in on it, but I don't think she can get the crowd going like Daniel Bryan could, or The Miz can do with that.
I don't know what it is. I find her, I never found her that appealing. I find her less appealing now that she's basically taking her husband's shtick and trying to use that.
Yeah. But I feel like Brie is just not active anymore, so they just kind of did a thing where it's like, yeah, you're married to Daniel Bryan, just do some Daniel Bryan stuff because it's not like you've been busy lately anyway, right?
Right, yeah.
Number 29 is Bayley. Just wish they'd do something with her.
Speaking of NXT gimmicks that die on the main roster.
Yeah, Bayley is still good with the kids. That's one thing I did notice. Bayley is very popular with the kids. My daughter loves him. My sons love Bayley. So she's definitely appealing to the young audience. But I don't know if that's the audience the WWE has anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number 30 was not Ronda Rousey, so y'all shut up.
Thank God.
I know. It was Trish Stratus to a massive pop.
She looked amazing.
Yep. That yoga.
Yep.
So at this point now, people are starting to get eliminated again. Wrestling happens, and then Trish and Mickey stand off. I couldn't resist. I could not help myself. I turned around and I said, "Mickey, hands where we can see them."
Oh man.
Trish then eliminates Mickie James. Nia Jax finds her way back into the ring, and everybody else finds Nia Jax's way out of the ring eventually. They do that spot where they're all beating up on her, and she's superhero.
Oh yeah, throws them all like they scatter to the wind.
Yeah. But
somehow the person who's like 3 people back is just like
Eventually, they all knock her out. Sasha Banks absolutely throws Bayley out of the ring. Massive toss.
Oh, and she landed right next to Charlotte, right? And then Charlotte like had this like
like,
appalled look on her face, like, "How dare you? How could you?
How dare you come near the queen?" Trish gets rid of Natty. A lot of things. What's the Canadian on Canadian action here going?
I don't.
Sasha gets rid of Trish. Then the Bella Twins and Sasha are all teaming up on Asuka because they know who the threat is. But then the Bella Twins decide the hell with this Sasha girl and toss her out. Sasha went from like first 2 to like fourth last out of the Rumble. So kudos to her energy, man.
Yeah.
Then Brie is on the outside of the ring at one point because they're trying to get Asuka out. And then Nikki's like, the hell with this. I'm going to go knock Brie out. So it's then Nikki and Asuka. They get to Asuka and Nikki. Nikki almost throws Asuka out, but she catches herself on the apron. And then Asuka does this like scissor thing that they were so slow and careful about because they did not want to ruin the first women's Royal Rumble and not have another John Cena moment like happened with Batista, right?
Yeah.
It was like almost reminiscent, like it could have turned out like that.
I was like, no. You know, like, don't let Nikki Bella win the freaking first ever women's Royal Rumble.
And I think Nikki was out of place because she hits Asuka, but she's not close enough. Asuka throws a kick that looks like it could have hit, kind of missed, but did knock Nikki Bella out. Asuka is the first winner. Both Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, who are on the outside of the ring, come into the ring, and just as we think Asuka is going to choose her champion, we start to hear "Bad Reputation," and we are joined in the ring by Ronda Rousey. Now look, I got no problem with Ronda Rousey being in the WWE. That's not what my issue is. My issue is with timing and effectiveness. So, you know, Asuka's got her moment, and then out comes Ronda, and it's like, well, okay, we could have done this on Raw tomorrow because you're not attracting people in the last hour of a 6-hour event. This is not how you're getting new people in. This is, like, if you do this at the beginning of Raw, all of a sudden the social media is out there, and everybody's like, she's on Raw? Well, they're on Raw. Like, that's on TV. You can immediately tune in. This is a pay-per-view. You got to be specifically in there. This is just a newspaper thing. And then when we get into Raw, we're going to explain why it was basically useless.
Yeah. So three observations that I made was, one, Trish looked like really good, like still in the ring, and she did a lot of like she did the thing where she mocks Sasha's little thing that she does, right? Yep. And like she did great at that. Like she looked better than Sasha when she does it. Like she could probably, if she wanted to, she could come back, right? And I hate part timers.
Yeah. Like
I feel like you're taking a spot from somebody who's busting their butt 365, even though, you know, they may have done it for 10, 15 years, right? Yeah. How would they have felt? But, so the second one is a lot of people, for some reason, are expressing, like, they're not happy with all the nostalgia spots, right, for the women in the Rumble, to which I'm always like, if you really think about it, you know, we have a men's Rumble every year, and every year we get, like, a couple nostalgia people coming out, right? Yep. This is the first ever women's Rumble. So, you know, if some of these women, if they don't do it now, they may not ever do it.
That's right.
So, like, it's a celebration of where they started and how far they've come. And if you didn't have the nostalgia spots, it would feel like something was missing. Like, I don't think there were too many. I think it was fine.
Yeah, after having some time to dwell on it myself as well, the NXT people, they have years to go still, and like you're saying, some of these ladies from the past, they might not have another year in them, or like a lot of them, this one time we're gonna realize, yeah, this is why they're not here anymore, kind of thing. Like Kelly, for instance. Like, I don't want to see Kelly in the ring again. I mean, she's pretty and all, but not her ring work. Her ring work is not pretty, right? And all these women also kind of were the inspiration for a lot of the women that are wrestling now, right? Like, especially how many women cite Lita and Trish Stratus as their, this is who inspired me to watch wrestling or to be
exactly, wrestling, right? And then you get to see them like in the ring together, and it's not like Jacqueline's gonna come to every women's Royal Rumble. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of these women, this was their one appearance. They're here for the piece of history. They're done. One of them might show up every so often if the payday's enough. I know Lita will probably show up again at some point in a middle of the pack run. Trish Stratus might do another like middle of the pack run. None of them are going to come in and win it and steal it from anybody. It'll just be when they're short on bodies, or somebody from NXT might be hurt. Exactly.
And I am just not a fan of the Rousey thing, because to me it's like, so I'm not completely uneducated on UFC, right? Like, I remember when she was the hottest thing going, but she didn't have much of a striking game. She was mostly an arm bar, and the bantamweight division hadn't really caught up to what she could do. And then when it did, she lost twice in a row, embarrassingly. She's not fighting UFC anymore. So to me, I like wrestling, and I feel like she's settling, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys from UFC have done that. Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock are my go-tos when I say these guys settled. They settled good.
Yeah, they were just like, well, I can still do somewhat like fighting. And get booked like a monster and freaking get a good payday out of it.
But they also came in and started right away.
Right. They didn't steal the spotlight at the Rumble, say, I'm going to be here full time, and then not be at Raw the next day.
Yeah. Rousey shows up, then we go to tomorrow, or the next day is Raw. Where the hell was she?
Not there.
Not there, right? Shamrock showed up, he was wrestling. Severn showed up, he was wrestling. These big guys from the UFC and MMA, they come in, they're going, right? Like, Rousey is really just a media grab to grab some new casual viewers, but they're pushing her at the wrong time. It's like you push her at the end of the Rumble, okay, cool, she was at wrestling, and then people tune in the next day. It's like, well, she wasn't there. I'm not going to watch again.
Right? Yeah, exactly. There. So like, yeah, there's no appearance by Ronda Rousey. It's just she had opened, like you said, like if she had showed up the night before, you get this full day of media attention, and then you open the damn show with her, man.
Yeah.
Something.
Exactly.
And nothing happened.
Nope.
And now they're probably going to have either what they're saying is they're either going to have her wrestle Charlotte, which would be terrible. Why would you have Charlotte lose?
Mm-hmm.
And then because Mania is likely going to be her first match. She's on a full-time contract, but she's probably not doing anything till Mania. Or she's going to do like a mixed tag team with Triple H and Stephanie.
Yeah.
If they can get The Rock to come.
Either The Rock or they'll get like Seth Rollins or something to do it.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm not interested in it.
No. You know what would be nice is Angle and Rousey versus the Helmslys.
Yeah.
Because something's got to happen with that Survivor Series thing. What the hell was that?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Braun's sitting there like, little people wrestle funny.
Why all this trickery? Why don't you just smash people?
Where's the smash? Okay. Speaking of the, so Women's Rumble, I'm gonna give it a 3 count because I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and Rousey didn't affect the actual outcome of the match itself. The quality of the match was all there for me.
Right, yeah, same.
Yeah, good
It was
solid.
good.
Good solid 3 count. I was hyped the whole way, and I was exhausted afterwards, man. And like from the
Oh, yeah.
excitement, it was so good. All right. So then we head into Raw this week, and we'll just go through the matches. There's some Stephanie McMahon announces that we're gonna have the first female elimination chamber.
You think they put Rousey in that?
I think it makes a lot of sense because she's a cage fighter.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, now that I could be excited for.
Yeah.
But I don't want, like, this Brock Lesnar, the Big Four, and maybe a couple other things every year, and then that's it.
Well, she's on a full-time contract. She better not be.
Right, yeah.
I mean, again, and I go back to Shamrock and Severn. They wrestled. They did a lot. They worked. So don't overprotect the girl. She wants to wrestle. She wants to be in the show. Let her be in the show. Also, during the beginning of this, Asuka's whole shoulder thing and just loving, taking it in, taking in the love is so good. Her energy right now is so good. And she's got a match with Sasha later on in the night. So that was a culmination of that. And then, so apparently the Elimination Chamber match, they're having like a tournament qualification matches. They're just doing this. No build to that. And one of them apparently is Kane versus Braun Strowman in a last man standing match, which started during the commercial.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Braun, like before the commercial, Braun came into the ring and just threw like the bottom of the ring into the ring. They beat the crap out of each other. Mostly Braun beating up Kane. Like it's a lot of Braun beating the shit out of Kane.
Which I am perfectly okay with.
Absolutely, because Braun is absolutely deserving of beating the shit out of Kane. And one of the cool Braun Hulk smash spots. They get to the announce table, the Raw announce table stage, and it looks like Braun's going to throw the announce table on top of him. He's like, no, that's not enough. Throws the entire announce stage on Kane. The
Which was, like, really cool.
Ref doesn't even do a 10 count for the last man standing. He's like, it's over. It's over.
He's done.
He's dead.
That guy's dead.
He's not getting back up. I give this a 2 out of 3 because I like Braun being Braun. But TV matches you're going to see me a little bit down on because they only have so much time and I don't feel the build. So.
Right, yeah. It makes me wonder, like, I know that they, like, planned this Roman Brock thing, like, a year in advance, but eventually don't you have to pull the trigger on Braun?
Yeah, but it's going to be Braun Roman, I think. It's the rumor going around right now is that Braun Strowman's going to get an Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania.
Right.
And I like that idea. Because there's another lingering thing from Survivors. Was it Survivor Series or TLC? TLC, where, like, The Miz threw Braun into a garbage truck.
True, yeah. And that's right around when Miz's kid is being born, so he's likely going to be on paternity leave for a little while.
And I'd say...
But my other thing is, who the hell's taking the Intercontinental title off of Braun Strowman? Maybe somebody like Samoa Joe?
Samoa Joe or War Machine. Both of them.
War Machine combined, yeah.
You know what? It's going to be Ricochet, because I've seen... I saw a match with What Culture Pro Wrestling. It was War Machine versus Ricochet and I can't remember a guy from South Africa, and I think he's also in Lucha Underground. I can't remember his name. But at one point, one of the guys from War Machine is running at Ricochet in the corner, and Ricochet catches him. And I was like, just face, just like, whoa. So
I mean, like, are they having him in NXT, or?
I think I know Ricochet said he wanted to do NXT first so he can carefully learn the WWE way, because he wants to be the best for WWE that he can be. So,
yeah, he's going to be amazing. So,
I want him to be on main roster, and I don't want him to be on 205 Live, but at the same time,
they need somebody.
They need something, right? They just added Rockstar Spud. Drake Maverick is his name on there, but I just don't think it's enough.
Yeah. They should have really they should have really paid whatever they needed to pay to get, like, Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi, whenever they had all of them there for the Cruiserweight Classic.
Absolutely. And I think they ended up overspending on Cedric Alexander.
I like Cedric, man. He gets the terrible, like, and it sounds bad, but, like, for some reason, WWE loves to book young African-American male baby faces as just the smiling black guy, where, like, they're just happy and smiling all the time, and look at all the athletic things I can do, but they're going to give me the most boring character in the world.
Yeah. And, and then some of them get arrested and get fired. I liked Rick Swann so much, and then he went and got angry with his girlfriend.
But he was like a young, athletic African-American male, and his gimmick was literally to dance around and smile. Yeah, and I was just like, do something with these guys. Cedric Alexander can put on a really good match.
Yeah. I feel bad for 205 Live now, especially because the Mixed Match Challenge is digging into their time.
Yeah.
And so now it's like a half-hour show. We get 2 matches if we're lucky, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying the Mixed Match Challenge. We're going to talk about that later, but, Anyway, so next match we have Elias versus Matt Hardy. But this is more of Elias sings and hates Cena. Woken Hardy enters the ring. Hardy laughs a lot during it, does his deletes. Deletes are over. Elias attacks his arm on the post a lot. Eventually we get a brace distraction, and Elias hits the drift away for a win. This is a 1 out of 3 because distraction.
Yeah. Also, later on in the night you got Cena and Balor, and like, man, I like that they're pushing Elias and letting him do stuff, but at the same time, it's like I would have liked to see Balor and Cena both in that match, and not one or the other.
Yeah. Okay, so next we get a Miz promo leading into... they're doing this iPhone promo thing, which I'm going to call them iPromos from now on.
Nice, okay.
They got the selfie cam, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to beat you. Kind of cool, but... I mean, that leads into Miz versus Roman Reigns, and this ends exactly as we expected it to. But it was still a good match, in my opinion.
It was a good match.
Yeah. In fact, early on, the Miztourage tries to get involved, and Roman grabs a chair and just chases them off. And then the ref talks Roman Reigns out of using the chair on the Miz. He's like, don't do it, man. Just don't do it.
Yep. That was a good spot, yeah.
And then Romans rolls in, breaks up the ref's count. Commercial goes into a rest hold because Miz gets Roman Reigns into the post spot. Full Nelson leading into the skull crushing finale gets turned into a Samoan drop. They punch their way up to then there's Roman starts to get his momentum, starts throwing clotheslines as Roman does. Then he gets punches and boots in. Calls for a Superman punch, but then he gets chop blocked to the knee, gets it kicked. Of course, he never hits the last one and gets countered into a power bomb, which is countered into a figure 4 on a sunset flip. Counter to counter to counter. The figure 4 gets turned over. Miz gets to the rope. His leg's hurting. Another attempt at a figure 4 gets countered into a power bomb. Miz tries to remove the turnbuckle again. The ref moves Roman. What did I write there? Anyway, we get another cheap shot into a skull-crushing finale. Roman kicks out, of course, because you have to take a couple finishers to finish Roman. He tries another skull-crushing finale but gets thrown into a turnbuckle. Another shoulder-to-post spot. Superman punch, kick out. Miztourage comes back, distract the crap out of him. And then Roman ends up catching the Miz. Miz rolls in the ref, checks Bo. Bo tries to stop him, thrown in to the ring. Curtis Axel eats a Superman punch, spear, and then Miz rolls up Roman, pulls the pants, wins, as Miz does. I'd give it a solid 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I think I give it a 2.5. Just
2.5?
it was
Fair.
super solid, especially for a TV match, man. I don't know. I think Miz is putting in a lot of good work lately. Like, I just really been enjoying his matches, especially with Roman, which Roman's a good worker. I like Roman matches. I hate the Superman punch.
Yeah, Roman has the unfortunate lack of diversity of move, and I mean a lot of wrestlers do. Don't get me wrong, but
Right? Yeah.
his collection of moves are. It's like the spear. Okay, we saw that with Goldberg. The Superman punch. It's kind of okay. He doesn't do it as well as I've seen the Superman punch thrown in the UFC. And then he's got.
I mean,
like,
it's unique to him.
Yeah.
Well, he's Samoan. He has to do the Samoan drop.
It's required. Yeah.
And a headbutt.
Yeah. You know, he doesn't have enough headbutt spots. I think he could use some more.
He pulled out the Razor's Edge one time. And I was just like, man, he should do that all the time because it looks so good when he did it.
Yeah.
But
you probably got a call from Scott Hall like, don't you.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Hey, yo. You're not the bad guy.
Don't be doing my move.
Right.
But yeah.
After this one, we got the Revival versus Rhino and Slater. Here's your ECW chance for the Rhino.
Yeah, finally, right?
Yeah. But honestly, it's just kind of this is another squash for Rhino and Slater. They get some of their stuff in, but Dawson and
Dash Wilder
and Wilder and Dawson just do their thing. They hit a Shatter Machine on I think they actually hit it on Rhino if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, which was impressive because he's big.
Also, because screw you being in ECW's hometown right now.
Exactly. I give this one a 1.5 though. It was a serviceable match, but it was just to kind of keep the Revival getting back on the upswing.
Yeah, I think that's a generous one, but yeah.
When it comes down to it, I think the Revival loss, like the Revival getting what they did at the 25th anniversary, we don't want a repeat of the Ascension. We don't want them buried into oblivion, right?
Right.
So that's kind of why I feel like what we got was good enough.
Yeah.
All right. And then we get into Asuka versus Sasha Banks. This was a good match, but that suicide dive where Sasha gets the kick in the face.
I thought she was going to die.
Oh, I thought she was dead. Oh, my God.
And she does that all the time. Like
I feel like she's she went to the Enzo Amore school of selling your shit.
Oh my God. So I had a friend who's like, Enzo just like, I hate his in-ring work, but he's so good at selling because if you even poke him, he looks like he's about to die from it. Yeah.
And I think they both learned from the Hurricane because Shane Helms, he could sell a clothesline, man. Oh, man. But this is one of those close-looking matches with Asuka. At one point, she goes for that butt drop. She tries to get out of the ring and misses and tumbles out. There's a lot of knees all over the place. Sasha gets her knees off the apron, off the top rope. A lot of countering. The bank statement got caught on a couple times.
Dude, they literally made me believe that maybe the streak would. You know what I mean?
Like, was gonna end to that Raw. I thought it was over.
Yeah, I was like, she won the Rumble. They're gonna end the streak, but they kept it intact. But man, there were times where I was really doubting it. Like I was like, they were gonna give Sasha the win here. This is gonna.
Yeah. And I give this one a good 2 out of 5 out of 3. Sasha does get countered into the Asuka lock, which we haven't seen in a while. So.
Yeah, it was a fantastic match.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have a Cena I promo, which leads to The Bar versus Titus Worldwide. So Titus Worldwide got a couple wins against The Bar a little while ago. So why are they? It's a good thing they're getting their title shot now. But I mean, it was never gonna happen when it counted.
No.
Like, I love Apollo Crews' the way he moves in the ring. I love his work. I love his body of work. But his
character is so bland.
Yeah. It's like it's energy on a potato. It's like that potato did a backflip, but it's still just a potato, guys.
Pretty much.
So, I'm liking Dana Brooke as the secretarial look, though.
The statistician.
The statistician. It kind of reminds me of what's her name, Marlena, but when she was I can't remember the character, but it was in WCW. It was when I first saw her. She was like a statistician again for somebody. I think it was for Mike Rotunda even. Anyway, it's a serviceable 1.5 out of 3 to me.
Yeah.
Titus is looking good. I got to give him credit. He's looking really good lately. It's good to see him come out of the gutter from where he was a while ago.
True that.
All right. So then we move to Cena versus Finn Balor. I want to like this match so much more, but I don't think Cena liked this match.
No, like, it was so distracting. Like, all the stuff he was doing with the crowd literally just took me completely out of the match.
Yeah. And I don't know if he's legitimately letting it get under him or if this is finally that Cena heel turn we've been waiting for a while.
It's too late now.
I know. It's long gone.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think Cena dragged this match down because it looked like he's starting to get the Randy Orton effect. He's starting to look like he doesn't want to be there. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
So I brought it down to a 1.5 out of 3 for me on this one.
I give it like a 0.5.
Fair enough.
Like, it just really took me out of it, man.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah. I was hoping that Balor would have a chance here, and there's a couple pods where I got hope, but Balor didn't get his actual shit in, and you know.
No, he got a couple drop kicks.
That's about it. Yeah.
And a freaking Pele kick, but like
a lot of Pele kicks.
Oh yeah,
it was like the only move that Cena would let him do.
I just felt like it was. Like I said earlier, you had Elias and Matt. You could have had them pair up, right?
Yeah.
Put Cena with Elias since they've been doing their thing, and Matt with Balor, and let Balor because Balor was hot, man. He was the Iron Man performance in the Rumble, you know, wins over some stuff. So now all you're doing is having him lose on Raw every other week.
Yeah.
Like, he's not getting momentum. Like, a win over Cena, even if it's not clean, a win over Cena would have done a lot for this Balor Club thing that they're trying to make work, but for some reason didn't have at the Rumble or the last Raw.
Yeah. All right, so that puts Braun, John, and Elias into the Elimination Chamber so far.
Yep.
We go to SmackDown, and Nakamura comes out into the ring. I love the way Nakamura is promoing right now. Like, he gets out there, he says, John Cena, knee. Sami Zayn, knee to face.
Knee to the face.
And he talks about all the people he eliminated and how they just ate a knee and got out. He gets interrupted by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and they announce that AJ and Nakamura are going to wrestle Sami Zayn and KO. Not directly. They get challenged, and then Daniel Bryan's like, you're going to wrestle them, and then you're going to wrestle each other next week. And Daniel Bryan is being different now. I'm trying to figure out where they're going.
Yeah, same. It's like, where are we going with this? Because I thought you were kind of like low-key on their side.
Yeah. So. Next was a very fun Fatal 4-Way for a shot next week at the U.S. title between Jinder Mahal, Kofi Kingston, Rusev, and Zack Ryder. For me, I had a lot of fun watching this. It's nice seeing a lot of these guys, like Kofi Kingston getting a shot in the singles, to add a little bit of entertainment and energy to this. Zack Ryder, you know, he's kind of back on TV. Good to see him working again. Jinder Mahal, they had him on the world title, so you kind of have to give him an excuse to look tough for a bit.
Yeah.
And Rusev is just over. Just so over.
Stupid over. Over. And I love it, but yeah, it's amazing.
Couple comedy things here. Big E throwing pancakes at Corey Graves. Not a big fan, apparently. Rude isn't terrible at the commentary during this. He's actually in the commentary, and he's not as obnoxious. That's one thing I miss talking about the female Rumble, is having Stephanie on the commentary. I forgot she was there half the time, and then she says something like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, oh, you're still there. Okay.
You're still there, huh? So, at one point, Kofi Kingston goes for a suicide dive, hits it, but then Rusev sees everybody out there. He's about to do a suicide dive. I haven't seen Rusev do a suicida myself. Has he done that in a match before?
Not that I've seen.
So it looks like he's about to do it, and then one of the Bollywood boys, or the Singh brothers, grabs his leg, and then the ref, like all the Aiden English, the New Day, the Bollywood boys are all outside of the ring arguing with each other. And the ref's like, you, get out of here. Eventually, it's the typical four-way. People roll out, people are in. There's a lot of wrestling. Mahal does throw a couple really good, strong clotheslines. He's got those big arms. Got to use them for something, right? Zack Ryder not as in this match as I would have hoped he would have been, but when he was in there, we saw him. He was definitely hype broing it up.
Woo, woo, woo.
At one point, they tease the Stackalade, or the double accolade. But it doesn't. It gets interrupted by Jinder Mahal, of course, you dirty Canadian heel. And then eventually, Rusev gets Kofi Kingston in the accolade. He taps out almost immediately, and Rusev wins with the accolade.
Which he should.
Yep, which he should. And I give this a 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then we get a post-match stare down between Rusev and Rude, so they got the eyes on each other.
So it's like, is Rusev supposed to be heel?
It's so hard to tell.
I mean, he's like, they book him like a heel all the time, but he's so over, it's ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
I mean, his shirt has sold out like twice.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting the calendar.
There's a calendar.
Oh, did you not see the link I posted to you? It was.
Is it all Rusev days on there or something?
Yeah, every day has Rusev Day on it.
Nice.
It's still like a regular calendar, a full square, but every day is Rusev Day. It's great.
That does sound awesome.
And Rusev does win on Rusev Day and gets to wrestle Bobby Roode on Rusev Day.
Well, I really hope he wins.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a little too soon for Bobby Roode to dump the belt just yet, but I want that to be a long-standing feud. Like, I want Rusev to chase that belt for a while.
Yeah.
Then we get this Uso promo, which they got this whole thing with words showing up on the screen that they say, and then there's more to this promo later on that we're going to talk about, which was even dumber. The Fashion Police get a thing with the Ascension, but in comes Benjables. They walk in, talk shit, wreck their computers, challenge Breezango to a match. Then the Usos promo continues. They go out to the ring and they talk about all the asses they've kicked. And every time they talk about a team and they put in the penitentiary, this big wall climbs.
Yeah.
It's like, God. It looked like
it was horrible. Yeah.
It was a year 1 special effects class to just remind everybody that the Bludgeon Brothers are being booked strong. Because they get called into the ring for their squash match. I'm not going to bother with squash matches. They don't get anything.
The Bludgeon Brother thing is stupid anyway.
I don't like it. They were going in this direction with Luke Harper, where it looked like he kind of had this Big Lebowski thing going, and like the dude Harper would have been awesome.
Well, also he was getting such a big singles push on SmackDown Live at the beginning, and just like.
And he is so good. Like he's another one of these hosses that moves like a cruiserweight. And then you've slowed him right down with this Bludgeon Brother thing again, and you're dragging him down with Eric Rowan. Let Eric Rowan die.
Yeah, it's really like that, isn't it? It's like, well, we don't have anything to do with Eric Rowan, so I guess we'll give Harper and Rowan something. It's like, no, Harper was doing really well by himself.
Yeah. We go to the backstage. We get Ty Dillinger and Baron Corbin whining, so they get put into a match together. If they want to whine, they can whine together. So we get to see that.
The match we only saw like 100 times.
Yeah. It's like, we don't have anything for you guys to do right now. Go wrestle each other.
Right.
Then Charlotte has a thing, and then we're reminded that the Riot Squad exists. They go in for a 3v1 beatdown. Charlotte beats them up a little, but then they get all in, beat the crap out of her. On their way out of the ring, we hear Carmella's music. And she goes for a cash-in, and this is almost as bad as Baron Corbin's ruined cash-in. She goes in, she hands the briefcase to the ref. The ref goes to hand it to the guy outside of the ring. It looks like Charlotte's starting to get up again, and then Carmella tries to drop kick. Charlotte misses, hits the referee. Referee drops the briefcase. Carmella grabs the briefcase and runs. She's going to be the comedy act with this, with the Money in the Bank, man. It's. Then we get the best promo of the night. It's Nakamura and AJ Styles. AJ Styles is concerned about his match. Nakamura, what are we gonna do for this match? I'm gonna beat you at WrestleMania. No, we gotta strategize for the match. I'm gonna beat you at WrestleMania. Are you even taking this seriously? I got this. But I'm gonna beat you at WrestleMania. Best promo ever. Then we get an interview with Carmella. She stumbles her way through it. Then we get Ty Dillinger versus Baron Corbin.
Boring.
Yeah, I gave it a 1 out of 3. It was a match. It looked
1
like
out of 3 just because Baron Corbin has a sweet theme song now.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly on Talk with Jericho, he was saying that he was working with Slipknot on it. So I like Slipknot. I'm a big metalhead. Then we get Benjables versus Breezango. Basically a squash. 1 out of 3.
Yeah, how dare Breezango get themselves over?
You guys think you can wrestle? Come on now. Okay, and then we get KO and Zayn versus Styles and Nakamura, which sounds like a great match. And then it reduces... On paper, it's a great match. And it looks like it's going to be an okay match. And then we're reduced to storytelling for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for next week. As they're already starting to, quote-unquote... I swear to God, if I get another finger poke of doom, I'm going to be pissed. Because it looks like they're starting to fight with each other, and next week they're actually going to wrestle each other, but I feel like they're going to swerve us and they're not going to wrestle, and it's going to be like a quick pin or some shit like that. I don't know.
I think I would like to see Sammy, because we've seen KO versus AJ, and like Sammy and AJ are both just so good at selling, and
I think it's Sammy's turn.
I hope it's Sammy's turn.
I feel like it should be. Although you start to get the other way around when and at the end of this, AJ and Nakamura win after a Kinshasa to Kevin Owens' face because Sami Zayn walks out of the ring after a whole lot of arguing. This could have been better. 1.5 out of 3 because AJ Styles marks.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
Now we move to the mix. Now we move to the mixed match challenge. This week, Becky Lynch and Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss. Have you been watching the video lead-ups to these matches?
Yes. So it just proves Braun is just amazing at everything.
Like, when he's teaching Alexa Bliss how to lift a vehicle.
I did not see that. I saw the one with the shirts when they gifted each other. I'm going to have to go and watch the other one now.
Because he's like, okay, so it's not an ambulance and it's not a truck, but I think it's something more to your level. And they're like beside a sedan. And he's like, so you gotta lift it up, lift with your legs, and just flip it over. And you see Alexa Bliss just kind of go down. And she's like, I got a better idea.
That's hilarious.
And then there's a back and forth between Sammy and Becky where Sammy is trying to get Becky to act like a bitch. So you see that he paid a guy to like try to block her from getting into the arena, and she guys start getting sassy with him. And he's like, see, you can find your inner dark side kind of thing. And then meantime, Becky has paid an old dude to act like he hurt his back, and it's like Sammy's like, "Are you okay? You want me to get somebody for you or something?" And then she comes out of nowhere, pays that guy. You're fine now. See, I told you there's good in you. It's just this weird thing because of the Sami Zayn. Oh, it's so great. So and these backstage things that they're doing for this have been just so much fun as part of the meetup. And apparently, the guy who's booking the Mixed Match Challenge is the same guy who's been booking NXT. So it could explain why there's so much life and energy into it. And the story is Braun and Alexa. First of all, they're hilarious as a group together. Like
Team Little Big,
big and small. Reminds me of me and my wife because I'm 6 feet tall and she's 5 feet tall, right? Just not quite on the same scale because I can't flip an ambulance.
Right.
It starts with Becky and Sammy coming into the ring, and there's a big happy birthday chant for Becky because it's her birthday. Match starts, and Becky is giving Alexa Bliss noogies at one point. It's fucking hilarious. And tries to go for an early disarmer. Alexa Braun is trying to get Alexa to tag her in, and she just yells at Braun. It's like a little chihuahua barking at a giant dog. It's like, oh man. And then you get that rolling scissor spot where Alexa Bliss is caught in a scissor lock on her waist, and Becky Lynch is just rolling her around the ring. They both get up and they're very dizzy, but then Braun and Sammy are just kind of yelling from the sides of the corner. And the story is, of course, they're trying to get Sammy and Braun tagged in. Braun gets tagged in, and Sammy just has this look of terror on his eyes. And basically, this is Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch wrestling the whole time until Sami Zayn just gets annihilated by Braun. But then the finish is actually Becky Lynch gets tagged in, gets knocked down, and then Alexa Bliss climbs on top of Braun Strowman's shoulders and throws the Twisted Bliss off of there.
Which is awesome.
So amazing. I gave this one a 2.5 out of 3.
Yeah, it was just entertaining all around.
Very entertaining. Also, Alicia Fox is injured, so we found out that Goldust has a new partner, Mandy Rose. And they're up against Jimmy Uso and Naomi next week. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. I'm wondering, sometimes when you get this Switch member in, that leads to kind of a reversal of things. Goldust and Mandy Rose could go pretty far in this now.
Yeah.
I kind of like their aesthetic and the way they kind of match up a little better than Alicia Fox and Goldust. Anyway. Yeah. Overall, it's been the Rumble and NXT TakeOver made for a fantastic weekend. It was really hard to top that with Raw and SmackDown. So
yeah,
it's been a great week though. And overall, I'm liking the direction we kind of have. I'm not liking some of the directions and some of the bodies that have to get thrown aside because of it. I'm really hoping Finn Balor gets some love soon. God, he deserves it.
Yeah.
Anything you wanted to add out before we start to stop her up?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
All right, awesome. Then next week, hopefully we have some title cards and some noise. We'll make some noise for some people. Once we get this all archived up and up there, I'm going to share this with everybody, and then we're going to start to build this a little bit more. Every Wednesday, you'll get the Weekend Wrestling. Next week, we don't have any events for WWE. Did you want to find any indie things in particular to take a look at?
Sure, I guess we can.
All right, we'll find something, and we'll surprise you guys with it next week. I don't think anybody's watching, to be honest, so it's the first episode, right? So,
yeah.
All right, good night, everybody. Thank you, Dave. I'm Jay. We're marking out for the week.